And I don't know. I just need advice on how I can make him understand, because obviously, because he's older, he recalls everything, all the years that I spent with the father. He keeps asking about him and things like that. I think as I must admit that I don't like it when he asks a lot of questions about him. And I think naturally I'm sort of like favoring the younger one. So
Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Perseverance Maremeni, also known as Madam Speaker, also known as the CEO of Self Love. If you're joining in for the first time, welcome to the family. Please hit that subscribe button, like, comment and share. And if you're returning, thank you so much for the continuous love and support that you are showing me. Today's video is actually a clip taken from the live session that we had. The whole idea of the live session was for us to talk about child favoritism and to find a way to heal from not being the favorite child. Now, the live took a sharp curve when parents who called in were actually asking, saying that their kids are accusing them of not being their favorite children. And it turns out that the kids were right, because these parents have a lot of resentment towards their kids because they have broken up with their fathers, and these kids actually resemble their fathers. How to raise a child that looks exactly like your ex that left you or that broke your heart is not an easy thing, but here that is what we are going to be tackling, and we're going to be advising each other on how to heal from the pain that was caused by your ex, and understanding that your child is yours and you have to raise your child with love. I hope that you enjoy this video and you learn from it.
Hello, anybody home? Going once, going twice.
hello.
Hi.
Hi, Madam Speaker. How are you?
Good, thanks. How are you, honey?
I'm great. I'm so happy to be speaking to you finally.
Have you here? Thank you so much. Thank you so much for being here.
My story is a little bit different. I'm a mother of two.
Yeah.
I've got a 9-year-old and a 4-year-old, and I've been going through a divorce for the past 3 years. And when we separated with my husband, the younger one was about 9 months. So now I'm having a little bit of a challenge. I think the older one feels like I favor the younger one. And I don't know. I just need advice on how I can make him understand, because obviously, because he's older, he recalls everything, all the years that I spent with the father. He keeps asking about him and things like that. I think as I must admit that I don't like it when he asks a lot of questions about him. And I think naturally I'm sort of like favoring the younger one. So
The younger one does not have a lot of questions to ask.
yes, she was still very young. She was still very young, and he never made any effort of building a relationship with her. But the older one remembers.
And also, I would like to just ask you something in terms of the look. Does the older one resemble anything of your ex?
He acts like him a lot.
Usually that also contributes to us treating kids differently. Does he look like your ex?
He acts like him a lot. He speaks like him, but resemblance of facially, no, not really. But he behaves like him. Very stubborn.
I can tell you now this for free. You know, I hope you are here because you know that I'm a very honest person, and my intention is not to destroy, but my intention is to make the best out of this conversation that we're gonna have right now. Okay? I hope you're ready for that.
Okay.
Now, your son is seeing things. Your son is not making it up. You definitely have a favorite, and your younger one is your favorite. All right, and I feel like it's not too late for us to work on changing all of that. How old is your oldest, by the way?
He's 9.
He's 9. Okay, yeah, he's almost the same age as my son, and I can tell you now, this is the age where kids absorb a lot of stuff, a lot of things that when they now become adults and they say, I have childhood traumas that I need to heal from, he'll be talking about healing from things that you are doing right now, the things that are happening in his life right now. Ne? So I can definitely tell you now that you do have a favorite, and your son is right when he says that he is not your favorite. And it's got a lot to do with the fact that he looks like your ex more than him asking a lot of questions. Because kids, somebody's music is playing. YouTube is going to give us a problem with the music in the background. Okay. Yeah, can I proceed?
Yes, please.
All right. So, this is something that we actually spoke about in the past. You know, guys, these are topics that we talk about on a daily basis. We spoke about how to deal with having a child that looks like your ex and having to treat your kids the same, even though you have to be stuck with this child that looks like your ex for the rest of your life. Okay, because this thing that he sees as favoritism, that you see as something that irritates you because he asks a lot of questions, it's going to irritate you for the rest of your life if you don't make a change in that. And I would like to say that I really commend you, first and foremost, for actually acknowledging this, because it takes a very big person to say, yes, this is what is actually going on, and I want to make a difference in my own child's life. I want to be a better parent than maybe my mom or my dad and all of that. And you definitely going to do that. Okay, so here's the thing. Whew. It's not an easy one to raise a child that looks like an ex, especially an ex that did you dirty. But majority of us, my son looks exactly like his father, and he has traits of his father. But there are certain things that I feel like I, as the mother, I need to contribute towards him becoming a better son than his dad was as a husband to me, right? And trust me, it's something that I have to squash almost every now and then, every time when this thing comes up. Ne? I need you to normalize having conversations with your son, because him looking like the father, every day, every passing day, it's gonna get worse. You being irritated, it's gonna get worse. So I need you to accept the fact that the real issue here at hand is that you need to now work on forgiving that man and his traits, and remember the things that actually made you love this man to begin with, because of those things you have now made a replica of this man, and you are stuck with a replica of this man for the rest of your life. So I need you to look at the beautiful things that this child possesses of the father, and all the other things that you don't like that the child inherited from the father. You need to work on you being the one that fixes that, you being the one that redirects that, and you know what, be a better mom to your son. That's basically what I'm trying to say. Because if there's one thing that, for example, I felt like it was a big thing that I needed to break the chain with my kid, was the fact that I feel like the dad was a spoiled brat, like literally is an egg, you know? And my son as well was now becoming the egg that the dad was or still is. Ne?
Exactly, yes.
Yes, and that thing used to annoy me so much, because I was like, oh my gosh, I'm raising another so-and-so. And meaning that from time to time, my son would irritate me. I remember through the process of divorce, I didn't even want to sit down with my son and do homework with him, because of how much I used to snap every time when I have to help him with his homework, because this boy looks exactly like the dad, and he has got these habits that the dad has that I hate so much. So I needed to take my time off and avoid spending a lot of time with him and get somebody to help me with his homework. Ne? So after all of that, I had to spend a lot of time with my son. A lot. The other day, I think last week's live, I was saying that my son came to me. They usually come together as a group. It's like they gang up on me, these people, when they want to ask me questions, right? They came and they ganged up on me, and they were like, so mom, oh, we're talking about having a baby sister, because I was asking them, my sister was here, she came with a baby, they were like, we also want a baby. So it was a discussion, we need to have a family meeting. Do we really want a baby or not? Do we understand that when we have a baby, that means that we're not going to have as much McDonald's as we used to anymore, we're not going to have a lot of things anymore, right? So my son then came to me and said to me, Mama, so remember you had a baby, Ofunwa? If she had not passed away, that means we were going to be 3, right? And now it's just the 2 of us. So I feel like it's fine. We don't need another sister or brother. We are fine. So that relationship that I'm still working on with my kids started from me being able to sit them down and say to me, throw all questions at me. Like, hit me. You understand what I'm saying? You have to allow your son to hit you with questions that are hard. And then you have to allow him and normalize all these uncomfortable topics. Because the more he talks about it, the very same things that annoy you that you don't want to talk about, you have to sit him down.
Yes.
I'm telling you, this boy understands in his own language, in his mind, his mental capacity can actually take whatever it is that you are going to tell him. Normalize sitting with him down and saying, ask me anything. Throw any question at me. You understand? The more you get used to him asking questions, because remember, asking questions is the thing that actually annoys us a lot when it comes to kids in general. And when questions are being thrown at by somebody who actually looks like somebody who caused you the problems, it's like you already the problem, you should know the solution, you understand? But this is your child. This is the son of your womb. You understand what I'm saying? You need to really redirect the way that you look at him and the way that you communicate with this boy. You get what I'm saying?
Yes.
So excluding don't exclude the younger one, because with me, here's what I do, Cecilia. I'm not saying what I do is the best. People who want to advise you will definitely advise you after what I'm saying to you, right? But here's what I do. Even though I know that my daughter does not understand half of the things that my son is talking about, I sit that boy down. And from time to time when he asks me, so mama, this and that, I remind him to remember we had a conversation about what divorce is, the reason why mama and papa can't be in the same room anymore, and whatnot, and whatnot. Like, I make it a norm so that these conversations are not uncomfortable conversations anymore. So because of the type of topics, uncomfortable topics that I have with my son in the presence of my daughter, so that tomorrow he will be the one that tells her some stuff that she doesn't remember. All these topics which are uncomfortable that you are talking about right now, they are normal now. And when they are normal, I start seeing him as a resemblance of something that I have baked. You understand what I'm saying? I no longer see him as a resemblance of his father, like with everything. Because I feel like my traits, the things that are morals that I learned from my parents, and the things that I feel like they are right and I wish for my kids to learn, I'm teaching him those things. And with me doing all of that, I'm now starting to see in him the person that his father was not. Yes, he resembles his father. He looks exactly like that guy. But because of the amount of work that I'm putting in to make sure that he becomes a better person, not that he is competing with him, so that when I look at him, I see a product of my womb that I'm very proud of, and I will say that, you know what, even if he doesn't do the things that I wish he could do, I did my best. And my best, it does not link up with what that guy is doing or what that guy did to me or whatever. You understand what I'm saying? I want to raise a better man than the man that I was married to. And for me to be able to look at him differently, for me to look at him and be proud of him, I need to put in the work. Because if I don't put in the work, I'm going to resent this boy, because this boy is going to behave exactly like his father. And at the end of the day, he's going to look at me and say, oh, you don't favor me, you favor your younger child, because that one resembles me. She speaks like me, she reasons like me, she actually outsmarts me sometimes. You understand what I'm saying? So even when I feel that I'm being unreasonable, or in my heart I feel like, you know what, I'm opening up to this one, I call them. We do a group hug, a group whatever. There is no way I'm ever going to do something for that one child and not do for the other child, because I'm trying to fight what is inside of me. You get what I'm saying? Because you are a human being, you are allowed to feel the way you are feeling. You are only human. But you being able to acknowledge, okay, this is what I'm feeling right now, this is where I'm at right now, it allows you that opportunity to actually just ease into being a different mother to your kid, and accepting the reality of your life, and accepting that this child might look like that man, but this is the product of your womb.
So is it okay for me to give him details? I must just tell it like it is.
Yes. And hear me out, sis. When you tell your child about what is happening in your relationship and whatnot, I need you to be very careful not to badmouth your ex. Okay? Because if you badmouth your ex, that child is going to grow up, he's going to be told other stories, he will look at you and see a villain. So when you speak to your child about what happened to your relationship, how the relationship ended, make sure you will figure it out. Make sure you don't involve, your father cheated on me, your father lied to me. No, you explain to a child that the two of us loved each other, we had you guys. now we don't love each other anymore, or life happens. Or sometimes in families, there are families which have got mother and father, some families have father only, some families have mothers only, but all these things, they are families. And just because me and your father, we don't love each other anymore, it does not mean that this man does not love you anymore. So I need you to understand that no matter how much this man has been unfair and unreasonable towards you and has treated you like trash and even though he does not want to pay maintenance, it is not yours to tell your kids and feed them that information, because tomorrow, whatever it is that you are, that monster that you are breeding towards your husband, it's gonna come back and bite you. So when you become open and honest, you tell them about the relationship dissolving, about how it can never be the way it used to be before, about how he is living his life, you are living your life, you are happy, he is happy, he loves them, you love them. You understand? You be open and honest about certain things, but you never badmouth your ex to your kids. It will backfire. I am telling you.
Oh, okay. Thank you so much.
It's just helping.
It is helping. It is helping. You see, it's. I don't know. It's small little things also that make me feel guilty. The other day we went shopping. The younger one is a girl. You know, girls' clothes are they're not as expensive as the boys' clothes. So the younger one obviously will always get more clothes than the boy.
Yeah.
That's when he'll start whining this and that. She's got more clothes and
Wait. Let me help you out with that one. So when you do the younger one getting more clothes thing, ne? I need you to sit him down in the sense where you say to him, listen, kids, this is gonna help. Trust me. We have a budget. Each person, in fact, even for the older one, it's even fair because I cry he's in school, he's in grade what? 4, 3, 4, 5, somewhere there.
grade 4, yes.
Awesome. So now what you do ne, is that you say to him, your budget 500, your sister's budget 500, whatever that you buy, you calculate at the end of the day, you say, okay, so what you bought when now, it has amounted to this much. You don't just say with your mouth or your clothes are expensive, so because your clothes are expensive, your sister is going to get more. Make it make sense to him. Whatever it is that you do, make it make sense. Invest in you, trying to make your child understand that there is no favoritism, and in case of any doubt or where he does not understand or he needs you to break it down to say, okay, what you think is favoritism is actually fairness. What you think is favoritism is actually this and that. Let's have a negotiation. Let's sit and brief each other about this and then come up with a solution. How would you prefer us to do it? Would you prefer that we buy cheaper clothes for you so that 1:1 with your sister, or you want to have this money which is equivalent to that money and then you buy whatever you want with that money? You get what I'm saying? These things are not it's not as bad, honestly speaking. You get me?
Yes. Okay.
I don't know if maybe there's somebody else who would like to add on something different than what I've been saying, but I would love for people to actually maybe say something to you if they have anything else to add on to what I've already said.
Hi, how are you guys? I
Sorry
actually
to
got
jump
in
in,
when I
Madam
had
Speaker.
P.
I beg your pardon?
Madam
Can I
Speaker.
proceed?
Yes, Tatas?
Be ke no rata gore le tlheng ka botse le re baleng ka botse ke re ke sa isha marapo beng.
Okay, thank you so much, my love. Thank you so much for joining in, okay?
Bye everyone. Bye madam.
Bye. You may
Fine.
proceed, can you?
Yes. What I wanted to say, Sisi, there's a lady here on TikTok. Her name is Zonke. I think Zonke Shezi something. She is I think kids counselor, something like that. But she's very good because she used to have a WhatsApp group, and I joined that WhatsApp group, and she'll be talking about how to raise kids. When these things come up, how do you deal with those things on daily basis? And I think you are on a journey that is not gonna be done today, and I think everything that Madam Speaker has said, it makes sense, and I'm also learning. I'm holding my pen and writing down, but I think you also need to embark into another journey of learning to love your son as much as your son looks like the father, of learning to groom your son to be a better person. You understand? Because these things, they are difficult. There are certain things that she said where I could see myself flipping and saying it the other way around. If I was in your position, I would actually other things, say when you look like your father and you want to do exactly what your father did, because it's not an easy journey to go through, because when you get in and you're in love, you're not planning to come out. So the moment you come out, especially if the other person was on the wrong, now it becomes difficult for you. So her name I think is Zonge Shezi something, but she's Zulu. You will see even her profile it says is what I will do. Please don't leave the live before. I will go out of the live and then I'll go and find her name, and then I'll come back and write it here, or I don't know, or something, but I'll come back with the name. So she's very good with kids. She will sit with you if you've got bonus kids. She will sit with you if you've got a girl child, a boy child. She doesn't put all kids together, because I think she understands that they are different, they are doing things differently, and they understand things differently. So I think you need to follow her and maybe have sessions with her. She has online sessions. She's based in Durban. She has online sessions that she does. The online sessions, she did mention to me that they're a bit cheaper, because I did go to her because I felt that, you know what, we're clashing a lot with my 9-year-old, and I don't think it's healthy, especially for her. And sometimes the way I find myself, talking to her age, I get worried, because the older person here is me. So I also approached her, because I think we just need to hear from Umagazi. Umagazi said that sometimes they listen. If Madam Speaker says, no, 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 these are the responsibilities, this is what you're supposed to do, or unlike me finding myself at some point, comparing my child with other kids, that, oh, they're doing this, and so please kindly follow her. It's a journey. Be easy on yourself. Be easy on yourself, and also learn to love yourself as well in the process, because that will help you learn to stand in front of the mirror and tell yourself how beautiful you are, how strong you are, how courageous you are, how loving you are, because these are the things that you want to see being able to do. You want to be able to love your child the way your
Yeah.
child is. You do not want to change your child and make your child the person that you want to see. So try those things. I will go out and try and look for Zonke's proper name. Then I will bring back the name here. Can you, how related with you, daughter? No, I have not yet gone to the sessions. I still want to go to the session. It's just that I do have her number on WhatsApp, or maybe I followed UP. Maybe what I would do, if you struggle to find it here, I will just what you call? Okay, I will write the number here for Zonke. I think that way it will be easier, Madam
Is the
Speaker,
number
and
on
then
her
she can.
profile? Is the number on her profile? Is it there?
I do have her number that she
No,
uses.
I don't think it will be safe for you to write it down here on my live, because I don't want to be in trouble, hey?
Oh, there's
That's
that.
why I'm
Oh,
thinking if it's on the profile, because if it was on her profile, it would be easier for you to write it here, because we would know that the number that I'm
yes,
allowed.
there is a number that she normally leaves there, but yeah, I don't know, with the fact that people, they've got lots of numbers, but I
Yes.
don't think she would have given out, because I think also I got it from TikTok when I started following. I think I saw her on TikTok. Then I started contacting her on the side. Then she added me on a certain group. So I think it's okay to put that number here, because I also got it from the social media. Yes, so that Usisi can just try and contact her and hear how they can work out things. But she did mention to me that when you do online sessions, it's much cheaper than when you do the one-on-one and face-to-face.
And also another thing,
I have not yet said, this is something that I've discovered during these holidays, that you know what, when you know as a parent that I'm not right, this is not how I'm supposed to be handling it. And I think what's causing that is the fact that I've got an 8-month-year-old, and sometimes my time I spend with him more, for obvious reasons. She's small, she can't walk, she needs to be fed, and but now on the other side, it doesn't look like that. You see, it doesn't look like that. We used to do chores together. Now you have to do your own chores on your own. So things like that, it's things for me that I can see, no, but this is simple. But it's not as simple as that for her. So what I want, I want to be able to get that language that she's gonna understand. Like what now Madam Speaker has said, that you put 500 and say, this is yours, this is yours. And then when we get to the till, he will see that, okay, my money, as much as I had 500 rands, but my clothes, I've got only 3 items for 500 rands. Things like that. I think those are small things that I need to get and understand how to put other things across, because I'll be honest, I think the way we were raised, sometimes it affects us, it affects the way we want to respond sometimes to our kids, and it's not necessarily right. And knowing that abantwana bethu, we're taking them to English schools, we're giving them better life, so we cannot raise them the same way we were raised. Somehow we just have to tweak things and try and be better parent in a certain way. So it's not like, oh yes, it's zonke shazi hlongwane. Thank you so much, Sisi. So at least you've already got it. Yeah, so for me, I still need to go there, be it we're gonna go when schools have opened, but we need to go and do it so that we continue to work on our relationship and on the little one's relationship as well, and for her to be able to understand that they are treated the same way. It's just that the other one is too small. I think sometimes it sounds better when it's from umakazi or ragati, than when it's from you as a parent, because also sometimes I feel that I'll be tired from sitting up at night and so yeah, but I still have to go as well.
Okay. I just moved the camera a little bit. Sorry, guys. Somebody on YouTube is saying that they can't hear the conversation. I moved the camera close. I hope you can hear it now. And I wanted to add on to what Ukanye was saying, P, to say one other thing that I almost forgot is to tell you that be mindful of the words that you say to your child, especially about how you are exactly like your dad, you look like your dad, you behave like your dad. Refrain completely from uttering such words. And I need you to look at kids in this manner, and guys, the respect that you should have of your kids, ne, is this one. Put yourself in their shoes and remember all the trauma accumulated at their age, and understand that the things that you are healing from right now as an adult are things that you accumulated at their age. That's why I'm so scared of kids, guys. Ne? So now you need to always keep it at the back of your mind to say whatever it is that I'm doing on a daily basis with my child, the words that I utter to my child, I am accumulating traumas. They are accumulating traumas because of the things that, like literally every time you open your mouth, every action you take, that is you accumulating things for your kids that they're going to have to heal from, or they're going to have to appreciate and embrace in the next 10 years. So that's how sensitive kids are. You need to understand that, in fact, a kid that can't remember anything, the younger one is even better. The one who's like 7, 8, 15, those ones are the ones that you must just respect with all your being, because literally are responsible for whatever it is that they're absorbing in that area of in every area of their lives during that time. So whatever you say to them, you need to be responsible. You need to remember every time when you go to sleep, or the things that I said to my child today. 5 years, 10 years down the line, this child might have to come and say, Mira, my traumas, my mom used to say this. I need you to be convicted in actual fact. You understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
So the words that you say to a child, be careful, be very careful. No matter how mad you are, and sometimes when you utter words that you feel like you shouldn't have said because you are angry, ne? Guys, teach your kids. Be the one that says to her, bring your child here, sit them down. Baby, I'm sorry. I should not have said that. That's not how people talk. I'm telling you, your child will always remember those things.
Okay, thank you so much. This was very helpful. I'll sit him down and we have a conversation. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you, P. Lastly, before I go down as well, I think there's someone who once said, when a child is created, when you have your baby on your hands, you need to always remember that this is someone's husband. that this is someone's wife. There is absolutely nothing that God didn't put and said, I'll put it 50. Everything is there. So whatever that you say now, it's if you don't say right words like what Madam Speaker is saying, you need to understand that those are the words that you will hear and you will think that, or maybe he will be angry and he will resent what you and you will think that I've done my best, I've taken you to good schools, but there'll be those words that will forever ring. And there's something about words, we can't reverse them. When you have already taken them out, we can't reverse them. I am also talking to myself right now. We can't reverse them if we have already uttered them, and there's no way we can reverse them. We can try and apologize and put a child down, but we do not know how long it's going to take for the child to reverse them in his or her mind. So I just wanted to say that every time when you speak to him, remember that person qualifies to be someone's husband. There's absolutely nothing that is missing from that child to be someone's husband. But all the best, Sissy. I wish you all the best. And then, Madam Speaker, if we can please have these discussions about babies in different ages and how to really I don't know how to really make sure that they understand you love them, the same way. And because personally, I'm struggling. I don't want to lie. I'm struggling. I'm one of those
I'm
parents.
gonna try and reach out. I'm gonna try and reach out to the lady who's doing the you said Shezi something. I'm gonna try and reach
Zonke,
out to her.
yes,
Zonke Shezi Hlongwane or Hlongwe.
yes,
I'm
Songwane.
gonna try Hlongwane. Okay, I'm gonna try and reach out to her and see if maybe we can do a joint live where we can just collectively help people so that we see how we can do this parenting
I would
thing together.
appreciate that, Madam Speaker. I would really appreciate that. I'll try and see if I'm able to see you when you go live so that I can activate that. Ne?
Okay.
Thank you so much,
Thank
Sissy, and
you.
thank you for
Please,
allowing me to talk. Thank you, Sis P. Thank you
thank you,
to
Kanye. Please
everyone.
don't forget to share the number.
Oh, okay, I'll share it just now.
All right. Thank you, Madam
Okay.
Speaker. Let me give others a chance. Thanks.
Okay. And next we have the parent, right? I hope I didn't mess it up.
No,
You are
you
definitely next.
didn't. Hi everyone. Hi, Madam Speaker.
Hi, the parent.
I'm so nervous right now. This is my first time entering into any live and actually being in the panel and sharing my story. But I
No,
felt I had to
you did
share
well.
it.
You entered the right live, the safest live, where nobody will, you are safe here. Nobody will bash you. Nobody will badmouth you. Nobody will. You literally did well. You entered the right live. So
I
welcome.
actually took a few minutes to request because I kept thinking, okay, can I do it? Can I not? But then let me get to the story. With the favoritism in my story, my issue was I'm the firstborn. And then I had a single parent. Then my mother had my younger brother who she loved a lot, and it was so obvious that he was her favorite. And when I grew up, I was with my grandmother, but when my mother went everywhere, she went with my brother. Like when she moved to her house, she moved with the brother. Like when she went into her new marriage, she went with the brother, but left me with my grandmother. At that time, I used to have thoughts of no, the girl child should be protected, so I cannot go with my mother. I should stay with my grandmother. But then my mother also went and had my younger brother, another son. So we were three, who she also left with my grandmother also.
Oh.
That is where I noted, or no, man, this mama loves that boy a lot. So unfortunately, my mother passed away, and my brother, before she passed away, my brother got mentally ill. So in my head, I feel like she couldn't bear the thought of seeing her favorite son in that condition. She got really ill when he started this whole thing. We don't know what he smoked, and then it stabbed her brain. From there, she just withdrew from all of us. And I was in varsity, so I could see that this woman is suffering because of she cannot bear to see the thought of her favorite son in that condition. And it affected me to an extent where I used to tell my brother that you are actually the cause of our mother's death, because she loved you so much. She couldn't think about me and my younger brother, who was even younger than you. He didn't get a chance with his mother because of the actions you did.
Yeah.
My brother used to wear identity. My brother he was the one who wore the most expensive, and I was in varsity but had like one pump, when you get that eight. For me, it was the basics are met. School fees, she'll pay everything, but she was not there as a parent, and as a girl child she was I wasn't even open with her. Like, I remember she used to ask me, do they teach you to be scared of your mother at school? Because I did not have that relationship with her. And it's just unfortunate because it was something that everyone in the family saw. So when she passed away, I remember an aunt of mine, when my baby daddy came to marry, the family said no, the money should go to my younger brother, the mentally ill one. She just got fed up and said, why should it go to that one? Why not the last born? What is so special about him? Even when his mother was alive, he used to get special treatment. Why him? You understand? And I feel like it's something I've never spoken out about, because you don't know where to start with this. Because currently I'm now stuck with that, what can I call it, with that burden of having my brother, who was my mother's favorite. Now he's my burden because no one in the family is willing to assist him in his condition. So I'm basically carrying him now, and I just need to remind myself every time that unfortunately the condition that he's in, I cannot understand it. I've never been mentally disturbed, so I cannot understand what goes on in his head. I don't even think he gets it when I say, you know what, you are the cause of the pain that we are going through. You are the cause of our younger brother not having enough any time at all with our mother, because you were her favorite. You did the worst things. You got into your condition. She couldn't take it. She passed on. So the issue of favoritism is it's highly it's more pain to the people that are left with that favored person more than the person who is favoring at that time. And I would say this also affected me because I've got 4 kids of my own. And I'm so glad that Miss P spoke before me, because I separated with my fiance. He's the father of my 2 kids. And then I went and had 2 other kids in my current relationship. Unfortunately, I don't like the father of my kids. So the boys look exactly like him. And my favorite child, I'm sorry to say this, but I had to have a favorite because I saw my mother raising us. She had a favorite too. So I went and took my second born and made him my favorite. And it was mostly because most people liked the first one because he looked lighter, the younger one looked dark, looks and so on. So I had to cultivate him and love him more because of what people used to say. But currently it's actually hard for me to now love them. I feel like I love my girls more. I don't know if it's because I'm with their father and not with the father of the boys. I don't know if now my most favorite, everything he does, I feel like everything he does is just, I even tell him all the time, you behave like your dad, you behave like your father, and if you behave like your father, you won't, I say the most horrible thing, you won't have a wife, like he can't even keep a wife. And I don't know if this is because of childhood trauma, or if this is just who I am.
No, it can be. Um, can I speak?
Yes.
First of all, Sissy, you have a very big heart. and I respect you so much for being honest, because it takes a lot out of a person to just be this honest, because a lot of us are very much in denial. And the fact that you were here when Miss P was sharing her story, and it made it safer for you to share yours as well. I kind of feel like the fact that you're not denial about this reality is a good thing. It's something that is worth celebrating, because you actually have something to work from. You have somewhere to start when you're doing this thing. And I need you to understand that your own trauma bonds as a result of not being the favorite child are the reason why you are like this. Because I wanted to say, before you finish your story, in my head I was thinking, when you're done speaking, I'm gonna ask if you have a favorite with your kids and whatever. And I need you to understand that with having favorite, it can either go south or north, right? In a sense that, look at you. You turned out fine, even though you were nobody's favorite, but you still have wounds to heal from because of the fact that you were nobody's favorite. You understand what I'm saying? So now you need to break that cycle of favoritism. And when you break that cycle, you need to break it for the sake of your kids, because there will be a continuation of this behavior. There will be a you, and there will be your brother within your kids, amongst your kids. You get what I'm saying? And the person who has the power to break that cycle, it is you. I said in the beginning of the life that, you know what, I thank God that we are in this era where we are able to engage with one another, where we are able to sit together and make each other see reason, so that we can become better parents for our kids than our mothers were to us. And let me tell you something, my love. I feel like it's not even too late for you to make to make amends, like to make things right. You understand? And the first thing that I feel like needs to be done for you to make things right, especially with your boys, is for you to, guys. Do you know how liberating it is for you to acknowledge your mistakes and sit somebody down, no matter how young they are? Because what that does is that you are teaching them how it should be done. Then you will see your investments actually paying out when they now behave the best way that they're supposed to. Because you know that thing, Yabori, you drink alcohol in front of kids, but you tell them that alcohol is bad. Kids are monkeys, see what we do. They don't do what you tell them to do, they do what you are doing. You understand? So if you apologize to the kids and you are sincere to them, then they will know, or you know what, apology is a thing. And listen, somebody was saying here, Kanye was saying, remember, you are raising somebody's husband, you are raising somebody's wife. And when you are saying to your son that you will be exactly like your dad, you are literally saying to yourself, nah, as the parent, I have failed the same way that that guy's mother has failed. But it is not too late for you, because whenever you can still make changes in this thing, you can still change the whole narrative and become a better parent for your kids, right? And you see, when it comes to things like, I feel like the healing needs to start from you, my sister. You understand? And I love the fact that you took it all the way back to how you got to pick your own favorite, because you grew up knowing that when you have kids, you can pick a favorite, you know? So now you have to go unlearn all of that. And you have to unlearn all of that by doing what? By forgiving your mom. You have to forget. I don't know what you believe in, but whatever it is that you believe in, because here we are not about we discriminate according to whatever you believe in. Whatever that you believe in that works for you in terms of your religion, use that method to forgive your mom, right? Work on you healing from not being the favorite child and your mom's passing, because I feel like more than you blaming your brother for your mother's passing, you are also mad at your mom to say, how could you not love me enough for you to choose death over somebody, and you left me here? You understand what I'm saying? So I need you to work on your healing and your forgiving your mom. And then your brother is another case. Your brother is a relative now. He's not your responsibility, but let's just leave him there for now. I'm not gonna dwell too much on your brother. I'm gonna focus on you and your kids and just the future of your kids. You heal from not being the favorite child. You forgive your mom for loving your brother so much that she even lost her own life, and you move from there. Ne? Once you have moved from that, now you start working on doing the opposite of what your mother did. And the main reason why you want to do the opposite of what your mother did is because you want to raise kids who are different from how you were raised and how your brother was raised. You don't want to end up having your brother as a son and having yourself as a daughter. Because if you don't do these changes right now, that's exactly where it's going. You get what I'm saying?
Yes, yes. No, I hear what you're saying, and I also
It's a very lengthy process, Mr. Simon. It's a very lengthy process, but I need you to also, in the same process, be patient with yourself and also be intentional and be aware of what you're doing. Like as you live here and you say, okay, I'm gonna go work on breaking this chain or breaking this generational whatever of favoritism for the benefit of my kids. You go there being intentional, the way you approach your kids. Sometimes it's going to come and it's going, the edge is going to be there, but you will always have to remind yourself, oh, okay, this thing, I'm doing it so that my kids don't have to be like me, so that I can be a better mom to my kids. And I feel like this is the best reward that you can give yourself. The best reward you can give yourself is not being what your mother was. You get what I'm saying? Don't step on the same footprints where your mother stepped. Because you doing what you're doing and continuing having favoritism and having these words, harsh words said to your kids, you are literally your mother's daughter. And you'll never heal from being your mother's daughter, and you can never become a better mother to your kids than your mother. So if you want to heal from what your mom did, you heal and you become a better mother, a different mother than what your mother was towards you. And that is going to benefit your kids, and it's going to make you to be at peace. I'm telling you, being a better mother to your kids is going to help you heal from not being the favorite child.
Oh,
Yeah.
thank you for that. I believe I heard you, and I'll start with apologizing to my sons because it had gotten to a stage where, when I asked them, do they know why they are staying with me only, they told me it's because they have to go to school. Otherwise, they would rather be staying with the same men that I call out bad to them. So it seems as though they are seeing the better side of him, and they are seeing the bitter mother on my side. But yes, I will start by genuinely sitting them down and apologizing because I believe they also see that their sisters have been the favorites lately. The sisters they go away over the holidays, but the sisters stay. So they question why don't the sisters go away? Why is it that they get sent away on holidays? And it's just the anger build up that we have towards the exes that we unfortunately transfer towards the kids. But thank you for this. I will definitely sit my sons down and apologize, and so help me God, treat my kids the same way, all of them.
I wish you all the best. I'm praying for you. And I know that you can do this. I know that sometime down the line, you're going to come back to this live and say, listen, I went home, I did my thing, and my relationship, one day at a time, it's improving with my kids. I have so much faith in you and so much confidence in you.
Thank you so much.
Okay, so we're gonna move on to the next person. I don't remember anymore between Simplicino and Roro, who came first.
I started.
Oh, okay. Hi. So you're not sleeping. You're not sleeping on the live. You are here.
Hi guys, I hope you guys are good and I hope you guys are well. I don't know what to start. I don't know if I should start with my story or with what I've taken down. But I'm just gonna start with my story because I think it's gonna be more relatable, right? I'm a mom to a 9-year-old. I've raised my 9-year-old alone for 9 years. And his dad I only started initiating a relationship between him and his dad when he was around 8, because he started asking questions. He started realizing it's not the same. And it was not because I had hidden it. It was because he had never asked, and I didn't have a problem with explaining. So when he asked me the first time, Mommy, who's my dad? I told him, this is your dad. We met in varsity and I heard you. Unfortunately, we could not be together, and I then had to be the one to raise you with your grandparents. And then he said, can I get to know him? I had to now reach out to this guy, which took him like 2 to 3 months to come back to me to say, oh, well, I'm willing to initiate and build a relationship. It's now over a year and still there hasn't really been much. And I think throughout that year, I started feeling bad because I was like, I have literally brought back a very inconsistent man into this child's life. But what I then did was, I remember saying to my son's dad, I wanted to get to a point where you guys can have your own relationship without me being a part of it, because that is how it has to be. And I then realized that he didn't get it the way I did. But what I never really did was
explain to my son what really happened, the depth of what really, really, really happened, how the rejection was, how bad it was and stuff. And my son, like everyone has been saying, my son looks exactly, even the nails and the toes, it's that bad. And one time my son kept on asking, how does his dad look? Because they've never really met. They've never met, actually. They've spoken over the phone. And recently, I think 2 weeks back, that was when they last spoke. And my son's dad said each time he calls my son hangs up, and not really immediately, but throughout the conversation, I feel like it doesn't become long. He would then say, I'm busy, he would hang up. And then when I asked my kid, because we're very close, we talk about almost everything that is relatable. And then I asked him, I was like, kiddo, this is what your dad said. What really happens? And he said to me, honestly, mommy, I feel like this man is going to hurt me again. This man is going to walk out of my life. This man does not love me. And what I'm going to say is, you don't have to do much. I've never, not even once, said anything bad about this guy. But who he is and his actions had to really show up for themselves. I didn't really have to do much. And I kept on, I'm going to go back to a few notes that I took when Miss P was talking and when Kanye was talking and the last speaker, that you have to be honest with yourself. You have to be honest with the fact that you loved that man. I was very honest with my kid that I loved your dad and your dad loved me and you were made out of love. There was never a moment of hate. And I cannot say now that I hate him. We are just not in the same page. We have differences, like people who have differences that are unable to be resolved. And that does not mean I hate him now, because we also need to understand that you cannot love from a point of hate, and you cannot give good out of.
Unfortunately, this video was cut short because of load shedding and network just disappearing on us. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and leave a comment down below. Hopefully we will have a part 2 of this video and have the last caller coming in to be the first caller that actually continues dropping gems the way that she was. Thank you so much for tuning in. Until we meet again on the next upload. I love you so much. Mwah.